Hello everyone, welcome back to 78 Reflections. My name is Patty Elaine and I'm so glad you're here. This is our very last Wobble reading in this series for the Shadowland Tarot. So we have been working our way through the entire deck. There are 10 cards remaining that I will do a 10 card spread, a modified Celtic cross. And yeah, today is our last one. And so I'm really curious. The last 2 days have been a bit rough. If you've been here, you know. If you haven't been here and you're curious, go back and check them out. They'll be in the playlist for Coffee and Cards. So for today we have the last Wobble reading, which if you don't know is a very simple 3-card reading. And I have pulled 2 cards for the Shadowland Tarot, working my way through the deck, meaning not putting cards back. So slowly reducing the cards that are available for the reading, which has been interesting. And in the middle, I've drawn a card from the Wild Unknown, which asks a really good question to help us navigate the energy on either side. So, I'm dying to know what energy is showing up for me today. She breathes a sigh of relief. I love the Hermit card. The Hermit's about introspection, leaning into your own wisdom. In Lisa Papez's book, Unlocking the Tarot, she says that the Hermit is about turning down the volume on everything. And I love that. The Shadowland Tarot has a quote at the top of the page of the Hermit that says, "I seek quietly at night for the ultimate truth that resides within." This Hermit is spending time alone, but is not lonely. Equipped with a lantern for illumination, he understands that enlightenment comes from taking refuge from outside influences and distractions. The keywords are silence, illumination, vision, solitude, and seeking. The shadow side of the Hermit is distraction, emptiness, and feeling lonely in a crowd. Solitude is necessary to recharge our batteries and gain perspective. Don't be afraid of the silence. It's time to shut down the distractions of social media, friends, and mundane daily activities. Yeah, the Hermit is such a great card, and I do love it. But I do also experience the shadow side of the Hermit, which can be also overthinking, overanalyzing, and almost getting too stuck in your own introspection. So I think there's definitely a healthy balance required with that. But I'm really curious about what is the energy that is competing with the energy of the Hermit for me today. 5 of Swords. I do not enjoy the 5 of Swords because it represents a no-win situation. It's a perpetual negative cycle. It most often depicts conflict. It's about winning with a heavy price, having a hollow victory. And I really enjoyed the Brent's interpretation of this card, where she talks about the victory is in walking away. I've been keeping my Tarot Vintage deck here, and I want to show you the 5 of Swords in this deck. This is in order, so it doesn't take me long to find it. So the Brent talks about, sorry, it's not the middle card. The Brent talks about how the winner in this card, she believes, is the people who are walking away. They've laid down their swords and they've walked away because they realize this is a battle. This is a battle that can't be won. The 5 in every trajectory is a challenge card. And remember, swords are about thoughts, ideas, and perception. So this isn't about a physical conflict with someone. Well, it could be, but it's because of our ideas or our ego getting in the way. Or it could be a conflict within ourselves. So in the image from the Shadowland Tarot, let's take a look at that. We have this crow, this large crow, who has taken all the corn from the harvest, leaving the other crows to wonder if he will share or hoard the communal resources. I like that interpretation of the 5 of Swords. This card asks, what lengths will you go to win and assert dominance? Do you suck the air out of the room with your own chatter? Or do you leave space for others? Interesting. I have not heard that with the swords, but it kind of makes sense because the swords can also be about communication. Very interesting. Do I hoard resources? Do I have a scarcity mindset? Am I engaging in conflict to assert or resolve? Okay, so how are these competing energies? Well, the Hermit is about intentional withdrawal to find peace or insight, to connect with yourself, find your own inner wisdom. And the Five of Swords is about a battle. It could be a mental battle. It could be overthinking. It could be unresolved tension with someone else or with ourselves. I think it can also be about carrying a story of conflict or tension that we can't set down, like these guys have laid down their swords. But this guy, he's carrying the story. So what could be a really good question to help us navigate these competing energies? The Fool. Well, the Fool is a beautiful card. And the Fool is about pure potential, trust, openness. And, the Fool travels light, without baggage. The Fool is spontaneous. In this image with the wild unknown, thankfully, we don't have a hideous image to deal with. We have this cute little chick with the sunshiny background, which I really like. And this little chick is leaving behind the comfort of the nest to begin a journey. The chick does not ask, am I ready? Will I fall? Will I fail? He's naive and he trusts and he just says, let's go. So if the Fool is our way forward, maybe it's a contemplation of letting go of our need to over-process and overthink and figure it all out or be right. And just step forward with curiosity and trust. What does it look like to start fresh? This is the last Wobble reading in this series, and it represents phase 2 of a 111-day journey that I've been on with a friend of mine, where we are trying to, I guess, connect with a healthier version of ourselves, make wise decisions, self-care, being responsible, managing our resources wisely. And, it's interesting because as we come up to this end of this second phase, we've both been feeling very discouraged. And so I'm just thinking about this reading from the context of, how I've been feeling specifically about this 111-day challenge. And I think the Hermit represents the deep inner work. And there has been a lot of that over the last 33 days has been the second phase, I guess, of this. And I've been doing the Wobble readings daily. And I think that has been sort of the vehicle for this deep inner work. And the light of the lantern can reveal sometimes hard truths. And I think there has been some of that. And I think also sometimes the Hermit will whisper to me, like, maybe you need to think about this some more. Maybe you got to figure things out before you go any further. And then on the Five of Swords, I think the Five of Swords is my inner critic. The voice that doesn't whisper but yells. You should be further along. You can't win on this 111-day journey. Like, hello, there's only 44 days left. Why bother? And the Five of Swords wants to win. It either wants to win or it turns the sword on you. And so I think that's the dynamic that I've been feeling. And I think the Fool is a beautiful offering in the center. Because what if it is neither about being more wise or about winning? Maybe the next phase is taking a leap of faith and remembering to trust again. What if it's about taking a more lighthearted approach to the next leg of this journey? Because the Fool tells us, start again. Try something else. Be lighthearted, travel light. Dump your baggage. The Fool's medicine is, it's okay to just be in the experience. And it's a transition from effort and inner conflict to presence, trust, and openness. And I think it's also an invitation to consider that maybe the next phase of the 111-day project does not require more effort. Maybe it requires less judgment, less analyzing, less pressure, less scrutiny. And so for me, I'm accepting the Fool as an invitation to release the story, tear up the scorecard, and just keep going. And also consider, what would the next leg of this journey look like if I didn't have to fix anything, if I didn't have to figure anything out, and if I didn't have to achieve a very particular goal. But rather, if I just engage in a fuller and freer last leg of the journey. So that's a great last reading. I'm glad we ended on this one and not on either of the previous 2 days. I hope you'll come back tomorrow for the modified Celtic Cross. It's going to be the last reading with whatever cards are left. And I am not a Rain Man. I don't count cards. I don't know which cards are left, so it's going to be a big surprise to me too. So I hope you'll join me. And please like this video if you do. Consider subscribing if you'd like to hear more from me. I'm also doing a deck and stroll, so you can look at that playlist as well. And I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Until then.